Welcome to another Island Kitchen, and if you have a sweet tooth, you are going to love this. Now then, Les, what are we doing for somebody with a sweet tooth?
Well, Vicky, today we're going to make a sponge, because this is the question I get most asked as a chef. You know, people say, oh, my sponge, I stick it in the oven, it folds down, it comes out like a pancake, it's hard as a door, you know, all these kind of things.
You've been to my house and had these
Well,
before.
everybody tells me the same thing, and it's such a simple thing to do, because what we're going to do is, what I do with a lot of things, is we're going to cheat. Okay, so we're going to cheat sponge.
Okay, brilliant.
Right.
I like the cheating.
Simplest recipe in the world. It's always going to work for you, all right? This is how it's going to be. It's going to be equal amounts of eggs, sugar and flour, okay? But equal amounts in my old friend ounces. Not so much in grams, eh? Always working. If you got one of those little digital scales or anything like that, switch it back into ounces.
Right, okay.
Work with ounces. It's just easier for you to do, just for this recipe and for quite a few others actually, but we'll get to that another day. But this is going to work for you, equal amounts, okay? So let's say we're making a sponge for everybody, 6 people.
6 people, yeah.
All right, we're going to make a simple sponge cake. It can be used for everything. Equal amounts. All right, we're going to say 6 eggs whole, 6 ounces of sugar, 6 ounces of flour.
So you can't go wrong with that.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah.
If you want to make a smaller one, what do? You make it smaller, you know?
4, 2, 2, 2. But would 2, 2, 2 make you a little hardly worth it?
It's not even worth it. That's like a cupcake.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. Okay, so maybe we're going to make a 12, 12 and 12.
Wow,
For a lot
yeah,
of people.
okay.
So, first thing we do, mixing bowl.
Yeah.
To beat up here, we're going to get some whole eggs and sugar together.
Yeah.
And we're going to put them in our mixer over here. This thing...
Now, this is one big mixer.
It
I
is
don't
a big
have one of
mixer.
these at home. I don't know about you.
Yeah, okay, well, I've taken this out of the kitchen side today because this is the only one I have here. But normally you've got one at home, like a smaller one.
Yes.
You can fit about 6 or 8 eggs in there. You should do it about 8 ounces because it's whole eggs. It's going to triple up in size and volume. Sometimes you get the smaller ones or the hand whisk ones. This is going to work quite good too.
Or ye olde fashioned.
Ye olde fashioned is going to take it for 6 eggs. Is going to take you about 50 an hour to get it as thick as you want to do it.
Oh yeah, but great.
You can do it.
Great for the muscles.
Okay, well, I'll take a point. You're a strong lady. You can do it that way. So I'm going to get this on now at the moment. So remember, all we have in here is eggs and the sugar.
Yeah.
And we're going to put it on, and we're going to turn this up, and we're going to leave this beat away.
Right.
And we're going to leave it beat away until it gets to a consistency, and I'm going to explain to you what the consistency is when it gets to it.
Right.
It's a really easy trick.
So that's throbbing away nicely.
Yeah.
And what are we going to look at now?
Well, we're going to decorate this sponge very simply today because it's springtime. We're coming with lovely strawberries. We're going to do a strawberry and cream sponge.
Brilliant.
Very British and very beautiful.
Very lovely.
You know? Well, you can do lots of things with this sponge. Like I said, it's good for trifles and it's good for cakes. You can make this into a chocolate sponge too. You can cheat on that. You want to take the flour, take away a couple of ounces and add a couple of ounces of cocoa. So you're going to say if you're going to do 6 eggs, you're going to do 4 ounces of flour and 2 ounces of cocoa.
And that will give you a really nice...
It's going to give you a lovely chocolatey
sponge.
And it's always going to work. It's never going to fail for you, this sponge. So
That's such a big claim.
It's always going to work.
It never fails.
I guarantee you.
Oh, it guarantees now. It gets better.
Right, so a couple of strawberries there we're going to stick in the middle of this.
Yeah.
I'll slice them up there. And I'll put these on a plate.
And these are, I mean, we're doing, as you say, we're doing it sort of, you know, March time, but on the island at the moment, these are just beautiful.
Oh, they're beautiful. Beautiful and sweet, juicy. Great, look at the size of these things.
Yeah. They're big boys. They're big boys.
Good strawberry there. Good for this cake. So, you know, it's one of those funny things that everybody would always ask me about this sponge, and I always tell them the same thing. I always tell them about this recipe, you know.
And when you, like you say, when you do it, you've got it all mixing now.
Yeah.
Do you really need to be spot on with this?
Okay, a couple of things you would do with the oven is cook it in the center of the oven where there's an even heat. If you've got a fan oven when you're cooking a sponge, if you can do it, turn the fan off. If you can't, drop it down by 20 degrees. So this one I'm going to cook in a fan oven, and I'll cook it at 160. And a non-fan oven, you can cook it at 180 degrees, okay? It's going to take about 25 minutes to do with 6 eggs. You can use a knife to stick in the middle of it. If the knife comes out clean, it's ready. Check it after about 20 minutes. Of course, that old thing, don't slam the door of the oven and knock all the air out of it, you know. So we'll cut up some strawberries here. We're going to dust these with a little bit of ice and sugar while we're waiting for a thing. They're going to just soak up the sugar. It's going to be good, nice and sweet. Look at that. Beautiful colours there already. So that's going to work itself away there. Ice and sugar can go to one side. Let's take a look at this. I don't know if you can get the camera in there, but it's starting to double up here. Why don't you come and take a look at this? You know, it's going to come to about triple the volume of it. And all that's doing is beating air in there, beating air into it as quick as you can.
Really, if you were doing this by hand,
It's going to take a long time, right? I've done it myself by hand. It takes a long time, you know. So it's honestly not worth doing.
Life's too short. Like you say, it's a, sort of an infallible recipe. Whoops! But you've got to get this bit right.
The trick is in the technique, you know. Get the recipe right. The trick is in the technique. Once you get the technique down. So it's a strawberries and cream cake. I got a drop of cream here I've whipped up.
I love that. A drop.
Double cream.
A drop.
You know how I look to look after you.
Yeah, I'm gonna say.
To that we're gonna add some vanilla. I got some nice fresh vanilla pods here. We know how to open these, we just split them down the middle, okay? And just run your knife along and pull all the seeds out of there. See that? That's all the flavour in there. Stick those in there.
Okay. And could you, if you really wanted to cheat and you didn't have the vanilla pods kicking around, can you use like a couple of vanilla drops?
A couple of vanilla drops are perfect. The good essence is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's much more practical.
Yeah.
I use the best here in the restaurant, as you can imagine, but the vanilla drops will work just as
But if you've
good.
got some, yes.
So, we've got a bit of vanilla in here. To this we're going to add some orange rind. It's going to give it that nice citric burst. It's going to pop when you take it.
Yeah.
It's going to work good with the strawberries, spring flavours.
And again, the oranges at this time of year in Mallorca, they are everywhere, and the smell is just fantastic.
Fantastic. Well, it's all spring, you know. It's citric and vanilla and strawberries and cream.
Really, only a sort of a small amount of orange zest you put in.
That's all you need. It's going to pop and it's going to work together with the strawberries and sugar and the vanilla.
Right.
And it's going to give it that beautiful thing. Just give that a mix up. That's been whipped up good there now to a good consistency, so that it's going to sit between the sponge. You know?
Okay.
So we've got our strawberries soaking. We've got our cream ready. Let's take a look at how our eggs are coming along. They're just about ready there. Let's take a look and see they're ready. Now, we've got a trick to see if they're ready. I'll whip it off there. And you remember I showed you this before.
Yeah.
You want to make the figure of 8. If you can make the figure of 8, and you can see the 8 on top, you know this is ready. If you don't see the 8, it's not ready.
So as long as it stays in that loop,
Once,
it's done.
By the time you get to the end of the 8, you've got to see the full figure of 8.
And then you're done.
And it's that simple.
Brilliant.
So, it's going to be worth it later.
Okay,
Really
wonderful.
is. So, we got the 6 and 6 of this. To that, we're going to add the flour. This is just normal plain flour. There's no baking soda, there's nothing in this.
So it's just plain flour, not self-raising, nothing. It's just,
you don't need anything like that.
You don't need anything else in it.
This is the trick.
Okay.
Okay, sieve it in. That's for you. Use a spatula or a spoon to put this in here, little by little. So very important to sieve it in. You've got to separate the flour, get it sieved in. It's very important. It's a bit technique. As a lot of desserts are a little bit technique. You got to get your technique down, and then it's going to work 100% of the time.
Right. Okay. So really, if you've made a mistake and your cake doesn't work, it's probably because you just cut corners just a bit too.
You cut corners. Don't cut corners. Don't cheat. I'm already cheating enough. We're giving you equal amounts. You don't need to cheat anymore.
Yeah. There's a certain level where it's like
don't be cheating too much. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
So the flour's gone in.
Yeah.
But you can use a plastic spatula or a big spoon, and then we're just going to fold the flour in there.
Should we show everybody at home how you do this folding?
Where can you see that? Over here? Okay, so we're folding it. That means just we're going to the bottom, we're lifting it up, okay?
Yeah.
We're not stirring it around.
You're not
whisking it up.
No.
Because then you're breaking up the air bubbles, and that's going to make your sponge a pancake. So, okay, fold it up, lift the flour into it without losing too many bubbles of air. So you want to incorporate the flour bit by bit, cutting down with the spoon. It's all about the technique. This is the part where the people drop. This is usually 90% of the time.
Right.
This is what they make a mess on it. Stir it in, you know.
Yeah.
So let's get this finished.
Yeah, we've been a bit bored with the whisking.
Spend your time throwing it in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the sieving.
Their arm is falling off
Yeah,
from whisking.
yeah. Now we'll just chuck it in.
Okay, so move it around until you get to a point where you lift up and you don't see any more flour in there. It's all been incorporated into it. Okay, so this is a 6-egg mix.
Yeah.
Looks just about ready.
Okay.
All well incorporated.
Yeah.
And nice in there. Right. So I got a baking tray here. I've stuck a bit of baking parchment in there. Our baking paper is working good. I've stuck it around, obviously, around here. I put the oil in so it sticks into all the corners, gets into the nice corners, so you get a nice finish on all the edges of the sponge.
Okay.
Okay. Bang it in.
Now you've got one of these. What do you call them? Cake tins. That'll be it. Do you find those easier to work with?
It's easier to work with, but this recipe will work in a tray, eh?
Yeah.
This is going to work just as good in a tray. Square tray,
yeah,
rectangular
square tray,
whatever you got.
like.
Triangle tray, love heart tray.
Yeah.
Whatever tray you want, it's going to work. If you get the baking parchment in there, when you take it out of the oven, give it about 5 minutes, flick it over onto a cooling tray.
Yeah.
And you'll just be able to peel off.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
So, just give it out. Bang, so it all settles down.
And you can see, I don't know if you can see this at home, there's tiny, just a few little air bubbles just popping to the surface. That means it's doing...
That means it's beautiful, it's full of air.
Okay. Okay.
It's beautiful. Okay,
Cool.
So we're going to bang this in the middle of the oven, like I
Yeah.
said, 165, 170 degrees, 180 degrees, 190 degrees on a fan oven, 20 to 25 minutes. Check it with a knife, and we're going to come back, and it's going to be ready in 25.
Okay, well, Leslie's going to go bung it in the oven, and we'll join you in a bit. Leslie's back from the kitchen with the cake.
This is it. 25 minutes to cook in the oven. As you can see, it's beautiful and spongy and high. It hasn't sunk in the middle. It's got the bounce. You can even hear the air in it if you hear close enough. You can hear the air in there. So that's ready. 25 minutes. I took it out. I banged it on a cooling tray. I peeled off the bacon parchment, and I just left it to cool. And I've took it out here for you to see now.
And how long would it take to cool? I mean, does it really need to be stone?
Yeah, it's better
cold?
if you're going to work with it. Give it about 15, 20 minutes, half
Okay.
an hour to cool down. Make sure it's nice and cold.
Right.
And then it's going to be easier to work with.
How come you've got yours so flat?
For a simple reason, Vicky, you haven't been using my recipe. so I promise you now this is not going to happen again. So, sponge is ready, all right?
I am going to go home. I'm going to make this. And if
Please
it
do.
does that, I'm going to send you a picture.
I'll await your phone call telling me, hey, this thing hasn't worked. Okay, so you can do a million things with this.
Yeah.
This is a real basic sponge, and it's ready for loads of different recipes. If you ever needed to make a birthday cake or a cake for someone for an occasion, an anniversary, or whatever
Yeah.
you want to do, you can make it higher, you can make it smaller, you can make it thinner, you can make 2 or 3 of them. You make a chocolate one and a vanilla one if you want to add a bit
Yeah.
of flavors. You can put them together, put cream in it, do a million things with it. It's a really basic recipe. It's always going to work. And what we're going to do, what I said, was strawberries and cream. So we're going to cut it across the middle, and like this, you're going to get a good view of all that sponginess, that beautiful sponginess that's happening right there in the middle of it. Right, so cut across the middle there. Right, let's lift it up. Right, so here,
Oh, wow.
All those
Mine
little
never,
bubbles.
Yeah, never looked like that, ever.
that we talked about before, that's where they are.
That is, you can actually see little pockets of air
Yeah,
bubbles.
and that's where the beautifulness comes from, those little pockets of air. Right, so this is the top of the cake, the ugly part, which is down on the bacon parchment, and all the air and hot air from the oven
Yes.
and everything is wrinkling up. You just flip it over and use the bottom part, which is in the bottom of the tray, and that's going to be the nice smooth side.
Yeah.
And it's just more aesthetic, and it's going to be more pretty when you're going to do things with it.
Okay.
So I've got a nice little display plate here to stick this one on, which just is perfect for strawberries and cream and that. So we've got a lovely spongy sponge.
Yeah.
And we've got our lovely creamy cream here. So all
Technical jargon again.
technical jargon, you know, us chefs. So that's all beautiful, full of that citrus pop and full
Because
of
in
that
there we've
vanilla.
got orange and a little bit of vanilla. You can use a few
Yeah,
drops.
A few drops of the essence if you like. I've got some fresh stuff in there. I'm going to bang it on there.
Honestly, I can. The crew are just slowly inching forwards.
Yeah, right.
It's like, get back.
We've got these lovely strawberries.
Can I just ask, why did you put the icing sugar on? Is it just to...
They're going to soak it up. They're going to soak up the icing sugar there just to give it a little bit of the sweet edge on it. It's going to work
Because it's
with
not got
that
enough sweetness with the cream.
This guy, I put no sugar in here. So this is just fresh cream, eh? With the pop, and then there's the sugar with the sweetness. So this is going to work very well. I promise you. Trust me,
Oh,
Vicky.
I did. Oh, I always trust you.
So, okay. We've got our little strawberries in there. You see all these lovely colours. Like that,
Yeah.
this is ready for action, eh? You can, if you give this to people now, and you say you made it, they won't believe it. It's
Well,
ready
not
for
if they
action.
come round to my house. No.
Okay, well, I can believe that. For sure, I can believe that. Okay, so we're going to put our top on it now.
Okay.
You could make 2 of them like this, and believe me, Vic, this will work with like tinned peaches.
You
with
can
like
use anything
some
you've
fresh
got.
oranges and
Yeah.
fruit and stuff like that. It's going to work with anything like that. So we're just going to do this for decoration part. We'll bang the top on it, make a sandwich.
Yeah.
Hand in the middle, just press it down, push all the goodness out, get a nice even top on it there. I like to have a look at it there and make sure it's all nice and even. To this, you can decorate the top of this whatever way you want, eh? I'm going to do it like this because I can see that everybody working here is hungry. So I'm going to stick a bit of cream on the middle of it.
You know, they don't eat for 2 days before we come filming, just so they can eat what you've got.
I can see how fast they eat. I believe it. You know? So here we go.
How long would this last? Could you keep it in an airtight tin, or basically is it one thing you should do for on the day?
This will hold in your fridge for 10 days.
Really?
Yeah, this is going to be great. Good way to keep this sponge. Bit of cling film,
Yeah.
bit of tin foil around it. Stick
Yeah.
it in the fridge. But it's going to be grand for a few days, couple of weeks even.
Do you have that?
This will freeze good, eh? Also, this will freeze really
So,
good.
but this would freeze without the cream in. So if you just took
No, just the sponge.
just the sponge.
The cream
yeah.
and everything is decorated.
Yeah.
So if you want to make a couple of them, stick them in the freezer, and then when you need one, you can whip it out.
And you just
give
leave
it
it-
a night to defrost, cut it
Yeah.
open, and decorate it.
Oh, that's brilliant. So if
It's
you're
gonna
having a
be-
baking day, you can basically just do double the amount, do
Exactly.
another, And just bring that out when needed. That's
Exactly.
great.
And you know, you've seen how easy this was. You know, there's very few ingredients in here.
Absolutely
And it's
stunning.
already looking really, really beautiful and pretty. And I'm going to just finish it off with a little bit of icing sugar. And it just says everything about springtime. And it says everything about home cooking. And it says really, really simple. And how beautiful is that, Vic?
That is absolutely gorgeous.
And that's it. That's our sponge cake with strawberries and cream.
Absolutely gorgeous. And if you want all the ingredients for this, and you do, here's what you need. 6 eggs, 6 ounces of sugar and 6 ounces of plain flour. But don't forget, you can use equal amounts of any of those as long as they're all, well, equal. You also need, for this cake, some cream, some strawberries, vanilla pod and the zest of a fresh orange. Well, thank you to Les and to everybody here at Mood Beach Restaurant. As they say, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. It'd be so rude not to. See you next week.